Welcome back to the JJK Chronicles, a Jujutsu Kaisen podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ronny.
I am Chaz, and it smells, I forgot to tell you, well, I did the same thing. We flushed this toilet down here, then you flushed it as well. I did first, you did second. Mm-hmm. It now smells rancid down here.
Right.
Rancid, not ranch.
No, it smells a lot like ranch.
I wish it smelled like ranch.
Thank you for trying to find a way to blame me for that and then realizing it was your fault.
Well, I did it as well. You did it the second time. I did it the first.
Now, I could have closed the door. It's probably open. You might want to get those pipes cleaned.
Oh, I need this pipe cleaned. It has been getting stuff in it
We
all
are
day.
here today to cover Season 1, Episode 17 of Jujutsu Kaisen. It is, first of all, quit being dramatic. Can you do that for me?
Do you have a mask? Did you bring one here?
Can you quit acting so dramatic? Like, good Lord. It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
All I did was shit in the floor, okay? It's not that bad. This is a really long title of the episode, and I need you to
I'm listening.
Be with me here. Kyoto Sister School Exchange Event Group Battle 3. Starting to feel as if they just didn't wanna with these episode titles.
I'm not a fan of them.
So,
I'm a little annoyed.
What did you think of this episode?
Well, to me, it's not the Panda episode, so obviously I'm not as hyped. And then it was just a bunch of how do I say this in a nice way? It's a bunch of women fighting.
Oh, don't like where we're going. Yeah,
but no. In all seriousness, I like Maki a lot, and I also have some feelings changed about Mai as well.
Ooh, can't wait to get into all of them. I do like the way this exchange event has set up some characters. If you remember, about halfway through the season 1, I felt like we've watched 10 plus episodes of this, but I only feel like I know a couple of the characters, and I kind of like this formula they've got going for each episode, only focusing on certain people and checking them out. Getting to learn a little bit more about them.
Trust me, I was checking out Mai this entire time.
So we start off, be careful, we start off outside of our element. We go to the OP first. And I don't really know why they did this. They easily could have done like they always did. That's what I'm telling you. Between the episode titles, the editing, I think the show was just going through a phase of not wanting to. Keeping you on your toes.
You know what they wanted to do? Not wanting. That didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, good start by you. We flash back to before the event started. Mai and Miwa are in their warm-up tracksuits getting some stretching in. It's so important, guys. You've got to stretch. And it's just as important to stretch afterwards, too. Come on.
Yeah, but you want to get movement involved when you're stretching. Don't just stand there and stretch. That is what people do that don't know what they're doing. Get some high knees going. Get some jogging while arm stretching going. You got to get moving.
Yeah, I like that note. That's a good note.
Thank you.
Do the activity lightly before you just go all out.
Yeah.
Just because you put your arm across the body for 10 seconds and do it the other way, and then you start, what do these nice ladies do? Start shooting revolvers. The kick's pretty strong on those. You want to...
Yeah, and don't put your leg behind your head until you've done like a couple of lunges or walking steps. You don't just want to stretch your gluteus maximus out like that, yeah.
Build up to it. Get a nice stretching playlist. Chad has so many stretching playlists that he can send you.
Well, that's how I start out my morning. Every morning I get up, I jog around my bed, and then I start stretching before the day.
That's terrible. That's exactly what we said don't do.
No. You do a little... Well, when I say jog, it's a little light little damper, and then you stretch. You don't want to sit down and just stretch, if that makes sense.
I do 30 minutes of stretches in my bed before I get out, just to prepare to get out of the bed.
Or are you at least moving around in your bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Just ask some of the ladies.
Dude, we should do a stretching vlog.
I think we should do a stretching. That's a great idea. All right, stretching vlog coming soon. So Mai's telling Miwa that Maki, okay, right out of the gates, too many M's.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it till last episode when we also had Mecha Maru. There are too many M names. Let's chill out.
So I feel like these chicks' names could all be one name put together. That's what it is. They separated it out.
Maki Miwamai.
Yeah.
How about that? Maki Miwamai?
Or Miwaki Mai.
Miwaki
Mai Ma.
Okay. She says that Maki isn't anything to worry about. She's not even a real sorcerer. She can't see curses without her cheat code glasses.
And which I kind of agree with, but she's still a badass.
She will be grade 4 forever. And at the time, this relieves Miwa, but we immediately cut to a much more stressed version of the young woman as her and Maki are in the heat of battle. Maki, she's no pushover, and Miwa has started to realize what she's truly in for. She says if Maki had been using a blade, Miwa would have already died twice at this point.
You know who she reminds me of?
Which one, Miwa or Maki?
Maki.
Who?
Trey Young.
Oh yeah.
You know,
go for it. Tell me how you see it.
She was not gifted with the genetics of cursed energy, but she fought through, and she is super strong now. And she's got to use some help because she wasn't genetically gifted. Trey Young, very short guy.
Yeah,
he's using the help of the refs occasionally.
Unfortunate hair, just terrible genetics. If we're being honest, the only thing he didn't that's good for him is he's in shape. But he works. Right. But you have always kind of criticized him of being skinny shape.
Well, no, in basketball, that's kind of what you want to be.
I think exactly what you said was he doesn't even lift that much, bro. He's just so skinny that he looks shredded. And you seem kind of jealous, even though you kind of have the same exact skinny body type, and you are nowhere near as shredded as Trey Young.
Well, I definitely outweigh him by at least 15 or 20 ounces or pounds. I definitely outweigh him. I'm taller than him. I look so much better than Trey Young, so it's not even close.
But yeah, with that being said, go Hawks, big Game 7 tonight. If you listen to this, literally, this might already be irrelevant. We might already be out of the playoffs, and if that's the case, we had one hell of a run, Yeah.
And there's probably 2 people that even know what the Hawks are that are listening right now.
A lot of people are saying, who is Trey Young?
He's a guy that's not nearly as strong as I'm. Way stronger.
That's basically what we were trying. He reminds Chad of Maki, and he's nowhere near as strong as Chadley. So
I'm so strong.
Miwa is trying to close the distance between because Maki's weapon is so much longer. And Miwa says she doesn't understand how she's only a 4th grade because she could easily defeat 2nd grade curses. Maki kicks Miwa off the side of a cliff into a river, and when Miwa stands up, she sheathes her sword, which I thought to be a silly move while in a battle. But stupid Ronny, clearly it's because this is what she must do to appropriately perform new Shadow-style Simple Domain.
Yes, and I love a good river fight. I don't know what it is about a river fight, but whenever you're in shallow water fighting, it just makes for good scenes.
And here's the other thing, too. It's the best when you can find a stretch of river / we've got some creeks in our area here in Georgia where it's just enough water to get above your ankles to where your movement is really not that restricted, so you can really do some cool water bending moves.
Yeah, this looks more like a big creek. I would agree on that. And it is funny. You do have a creek in your backyard. I've gone over on occasions. I've seen you in the creek, and you've been trying to water bend.
Well,
and it just looks like you're
well,
waving
it's not
your
trying.
arms.
Actually, my bending has gotten much better since the last time you've seen me.
Well, basically, what I saw you just moving your arms in a circle, and
it's actually not in a circle. You fucking dweeb.
That's what you were doing.
You have to push and pull the water. Is basically step one that you wouldn't understand, and then you can get into more elaborate moves from there.
And then I just see you kick the water in the air like you did something. It's kind of cute.
Well, you do. What you do is scoop. I mean, by scoop, you force the water up, and then when it's in the air, you combo that to a kick, and it can make some real hard water daggers that definitely will.
Keep practicing.
Get my dog to run away.
I'll try to get a video next time.
You never support my water bending. So She's doing this move. This allows her to attack anything that enters the 2.21 meter radius of her domain on full auto reflex. It's released if her feet move from the point they're at when it's activated. Now, this is, once again, some very complex move descriptions. Are you with me?
Do you like how each move is how complex each move is for each character, or would you rather it be more of a broader form to where they could kind of add a little bit of it? Because I feel like sometimes in this show, it's not like it's extremely unique for every character, which is almost, I wouldn't say a bad thing, but could possibly be a bad thing.
Here's the thing. I think it's the sort of thing, for the most part, once you explain it once, now when they explain it, it is always very complex. They really take the time to explain it. If you can focus for 10 seconds and read it and figure out what they're actually saying when they're talking about 2.21 meters, blah, 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 it's usually pretty simple.
So you're telling me I have a terrible attention span, and
no, because I'm actually being completely serious when you're saying that, because I know what you mean. When they're talking about Nanami's 7-to-10 ratio, blah, 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 it's like, okay, what are we talking about? But once you realize, you're like, oh, he's just got to hit Mark 7 out of 10, or, oh, Yuji's fist is just delayed energy. And in this case, she just has quick reflexes inside of a circle. And if her feet move, it does not work out.
Okay.
So I like that they're taking the time to, everyone has kind of a move. I'll tell you what, it's better than fucking Mai walking around with a revolver.
Well, you just don't understand her move is what it is.
And the other thing I will say is it feels a little bit silly when they take so long explaining people like Miwa's moves like that.
That's
and then
kind
you
of
see
what I was
Mechamaru,
yeah,
and all he's doing is just launching rockets out of his arms.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at, is because to me, Miwa is one of the weaker characters right now for sure. Even when I see her do this, I'm just like, eh. Like I know we've already been with Maki, but I'm so for Maki right here. I just feel like Miwa is such a Miwa.
She's got blue hair, and to be fair, when you say that, they explain this move, and then what literally happens right after that is Maki charges her the exact way that Miwa says she needs to charge her, and the move does not work. So,
but yeah, I agree with you. If they can do it in 10 seconds or less, I'm here for it. If it goes over 10 seconds, I'm gonna turn off the show.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. She says it's the fastest technique. And Maki's one step ahead of her, though. She is aware of all the things Miwa is aware of. She knows that before she plans on attacking, Miwa probably plans on trying to disarm Maki, because she's just got that reach advantage. So what does Maki do? She snaps the weapon in half, the bow staff, which seems irresponsible, let me say that. How many cursed weapons do they just have lying around that she can just break up into smaller weapons?
She's so badass, it doesn't even matter.
She spent this whole battle taking advantage of her reach with this weapon, and now she will never be able to do that again because she's made a couple of nunchucks that aren't nunchucks because they're not attached. They're just sticks now. You don't have any thoughts on this, of her just breaking school property?
I was hoping you'd still go on with it. Like I said, I think she's such a badass that it doesn't matter at this point, because she's going to use this move. Oh, let me do a little dive. What do you call it? How did I was about to say divergent fist.
Yeah, I know, because you're an idiot. Is why you're
a diversion, right? What is a diversion?
Diversion. Yeah, she's getting ready to do that. My whole thing was, thank God she didn't get her hands back on the reasonably named weapon, Slaughter Demon. I shudder to think about how she would have treated it if she's just going around snapping weapons. But after she does that, she does throw part of it to create a diversion/distraction as she attempts to close the gap. She takes Miwa by surprise that her legs moved, completely canceling out that awesome simple shadow domain style we heard so much about earlier. Maki continues to kick ass as she throws Miwa into the water, and when she stands back up, we realize that Maki now has her sword. A complete disarming.
A disarming while arming yourself. That's one of the best things you can ever do in a fight.
Yeah, so true. And remember how Miwa said she had those 2 brothers she was trying to take care of? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be bold, but I can't help but feel like those 2 lads are properly fucked.
Yeah, they are fucked.
I don't...
Just like David Dobrik's friends would be fucked if he didn't make videos about them needing surgery.
You're on a real David Dobrik kick recently.
Sorry, dude. I'm on that grind, that David Dobrik grind.
You and your sister Jessica were having a little argument about David Dobrik, and now it's all that you can think about, even though we're doing this really important podcast.
You kind of look like him. With your hat like that and your hair like that, you look a little bit like David.
You've always said David's a handsome guy, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. A discounted David.
And your sister has a shirt. You think she might be interested in me?
No, because I said you look like a discount David, so I think she's more into the full-priced Davids.
Well, I'm not to say anything about your sister, but I feel like whatever girlfriend David would get, she would be a discount form of that, so you think maybe...
I mean, you are
Can
right.
I date... You think I could date your sister?
If I were you, I would not, because who would date somebody that purchases David Dobrik gear, you know? What a loser.
That was before the controversies, though, right? That was before
before the controversies.
To be fair, still. She was buying the merch before we knew that he was swinging people from bulldozers, correct?
Well, I don't even know what he was doing. Was he a swinger? Is that what he got canceled for?
You didn't see him swinging the friends from the bulldozer and then...
Oh, yeah, I think he paid like that for that guy's surgery after making a video.
Well, there was a bulldozer involved. So Maki, she's not even breaking a sweat, I feel like. We see back at headquarters. All of this is being watched via a crow cam. This was the first point I got really confused about, because in said headquarters...
There's a lot of crows that are cameras, by the way, in real life, too. I just wanted to mention that. There's...
Oh, boy.
Not all birds are robots, but
feels a little conspiracy-y.
A lot of them are. Just be careful when you're, out with crows flying around.
Is there something I need to look out for? Is there a telltale sign?
When a crow is perched in a tree looking at you, I would say 9 times out of 10, crow cam.
Dude, I like how you threw a little Mario in there. I'd say 9 times out of 10.
It's crow cam.
Okay, thanks for that. So in the said headquarters, we are introduced to a woman with such extravagant hair that it appears like it could double as a mop. And do you know who the fuck this is?
I do not. I feel like this is definitely the first time we've seen her, right?
I think so. I thought so. I think I would remember her.
I think it is just a higher up in that school. Maybe a teacher like Gojo at that school.
It was so weird. Even like a second one, because they've already got the one Iori that's kind of like... It was so weird. It was like she was here, we talked to her for a second, and then no more. We were like, we'll give you more on her later.
She's got a bitchy vibe to her as well. So, from my understanding, I think you're about to talk about it, or maybe you haven't.
Well, I'm really good at my notes, so yeah,
she's controlling the crow cam?
Yeah, she says that they need to promote Maki to 2nd grade already, and Gojo says he agrees, but the Zenin clan keeps getting in the way. A whole lot more on the Zenin clan later. Gojo comments about how the camera feed over by Itadori keeps cutting out. And something along these lines was the show's way of saying, hey, we're not going to show you Itadori this episode because unfortunately the animal cams just keep cutting out.
They do. Those are probably the pigeons. It's always got to be a crow, though. Those are more reliable.
And like
just keep your eyes out, folks. That's a warning.
All birds.
I'm going to give you one last warning.
Okay.
Most birds, but especially crows. They've got a good, what do you call it? Pixel rating.
I think you might be in your own head a little bit, but okay. So I think it's, like you said, insinuating that our new character here is the one sharing her senses with the animals, allowing for this coverage. And one thing that they established one thing about her, she seems to care about money, and that's all she cares about.
So she's a normal person.
Other than that, I don't know what her deal is. Although they do kind of start talking about savings where someone literally just says, oh yeah, how much have you saved?
I did not catch that.
I was like, wow, what a bold conversation to just have in the middle of this. They're just talking about their life savings.
I would just steal stuff. If I had cursed energy with me, couldn't you just steal things?
And I would also like to take a second, just since usually I'd kind of skip right by this. Chad did do that whole thing where he was bitching about flushing the toilet and the smell that started kind of wafting over from that. And he just did this move in his chair where he essentially armbarred himself off of the chair, allowing for some free space between his butt flaps and the
I don't call him that.
the chair platform, to allow an escape of gaseous material to come swifting out of that, and then just decided we'll just keep going on with the podcast from here. So he was kind of talking about smells, and then he just helped me experience that. So I just wanted to...
You're welcome.
I felt like I needed to share that. He just looked super uncomfortable, too.
And I wouldn't call them butt flaps. They don't really flap around much. They're pretty small. I'd call them like butt sticky notes, almost.
Okay. So... Meanwhile, Gojo takes a gander over to Old Man Eyebrows and wonders what he's planning, because that guy's always got something up his sleeve.
He's probably planning his will out. He looks like he's about to die.
Needs to. And to my seventh grandchild, I leave my eyebrow ring.
And then my 8th one gets my cane.
And my 13th one gets the 3rd earring I have on these huge lobes. Meanwhile, Gojo takes a gander. Oh, wait. Already said that. Just then, a piece of paper on the wall catches on fire to the excitement of Gojo as he says, "They are on the move." And in the worst part of the episode, they will now force feed us assistant to the manager.
Oh, dude, this was so bad.
Yeah, I fucking hate this guy. He explains that all the cursed spirits released into the area have charms on them. And when the spirit disappears, the corresponding charm here in the viewing area is extinguished simultaneously.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, we could have configured that ourselves.
You know what they could have said? They've already got crow cams watching it. Gojo could have said, hey, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Didn't need this guy to explain something for so long. But he did, and part of it was Tokyo School takes care of one, it turns red. Kyoto School, blue, and since Maki is in the match, any extinguished by unregistered responses burn red as well. And so that's just saying, she doesn't have any curse techniques. So what we see in this very anime background could mean, for example, if Maki were to go and get her 2004 Honda Accord and run over some curses, that would follow also under the red category.
Nice. That was very specific of you.
Well, that's because the show showed someone in a car running over a little bitch curse.
It was a 2004 Honda.
I believe
Accord,
it was a 2004
okay.
Honda. I'm big on Team Honda.
That's crazy.
Japanese-made car, so I'm going to guess it was a Honda that rolled over that little bitch.
I was going to say, yeah, it is in Japan. I guess you're right on that.
Mm-hmm. We can see on the wall that...
You didn't say Hyundai, did you? You said Honda?
I said Honda.
Okay.
I'm not really Hyundais. I mean, fuck your Y is what I think about Hyundais. Because you don't say a Y,
Well, yeah, but you know why? Because how do you spell Sunday? Like if you're eating a sundae.
Doesn't make sense because there's no Y in Sunday, you idiot.
Well, there is a Y in Sunday. Which Sunday are you talking about?
I always go to the food. So I thought you were talking about a hot fudge sundae. Were you not talking about a hot fudge sundae?
Do you know there's a day called Sunday?
I thought, wait, how is that one spelled?
There's a Sunday.
I thought it was called Sunday, as in like,
because
you made it, go get a Sunday.
That makes, and you always eat Sundays on Sunday, but
yes.
You didn't know it was Sunday. You just
Friday. Go to the popular chain restaurant, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday, and you can get some mozzarella sticks, which still just one of the brightest cuisine creations we've ever made. We said, hey, what if we took a stick of cheese and we fried it?
You want to say our favorite appetizer right now while we're thinking about appetizers?
Yeah.
Real quick?
Yeah. What's yours?
I will say mine is got to be queso, because you can get the tortillas, you can get the chips, you can get a nice hot queso, and that is just a awesome appetizer.
I'm obligated to agree. My favorite food, I would say it changes every 2 hours. Sometimes it's nachos. I love nachos, which is a lot of times considered an appetizer in their own right. Now, just because I'm really enjoying this invigorating conversations about appetizers, what is one that is not chip based? What is your favorite appetizer?
Oh, that's a good one.
Me, you know what I'm going with, just because I think they're a lot of fun, and I don't have these too often. I need to really go out of my way to get these more often. It's those spicy jack wedges. You know what I'm talking about?
Where do you get those at?
They do a lot of. I mean, TGI, they've got to have those.
I'm trying to think. I like mostly chipped based appetizers. I do like, though.
Because I kind of said that thing about mozzarella sticks. I'll be honest. They're a little bit overrated.
Yeah, but if you have that with the sauce, it's not bad.
Like a marinara sauce?
Yeah, marinara sauce.
Yeah. Also like potato skins.
Potato skins. You've got... you can even do wings. Wings are sometimes an appetizer,
Sometimes they're considered an appetizer. What a great country we live in, you know?
Yeah, definitely not.
What a full chicken-based snack is considered like, I'm just warming up.
I'm going to die of chicken overdosing.
Okay.
I have chicken so often.
So we can see on the... You didn't have an appetizer, huh?
Huh?
Okay.
No, so, I do have one. You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Buffalo cheese curds.
All right. Okay, buffalo cheese curds. We can see on the wall that there appear to be 11 curses in all. 2 have been taken care of. We got a tie ball game. But Gojo says that no one's paying enough attention to the actual game at hand. And spoiler alert, I'll go ahead and do this. For the remaining duration of this episode, the contestants will continue to not give a single fuck about the game at hand.
I like that the most, because the game at hand would be so boring. It'd be like watching somebody play water polo that's taking it serious and not just drowning the other team for fun.
Now, that's kind of interesting that you say, whoever would be doing the game is actually so fucking boring, because just then we cut over and see that Panda is one of the ones playing the objective, taking out a curse.
Well,
so what do you think about that?
He just fought the robot, so he's like, you know what, I got to even the score up real quick just to make the match more interesting. And that's what he was doing.
You know what? I put you on your heels, and you did a great job of, getting your balance and coming right back at me. That answer is approved. I'm buying you some buffalo cheese curds later.
Let's go. It's my favorite appetizer.
We cut over to Nobara and Sabrina the Teenage Witch as Nobara yells, "Get down here, you damn witch." Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been saying she's a witch.
She is a witch.
I feel like when we have a nickname and we stick with it for so long, that some people are like, come on, learn the name. Don't keep going with the nickname. But then when they say things in the show, I feel like we are...
It's like, we're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're free. We're justified. So
if she gets offended by being called a witch, though, maybe not do what you're doing. I don't think she does get offended by it. But it's like me dressing up in like a tiger costume.
Uh-huh.
And like I walk on all fours everywhere I go, and then someone calls me a tiger and I get offended by it.
And you go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Seriously? Right. Yeah.
Like, really? This is my favorite outfit.
It's kind of like when I'm at a restaurant and you order some of your favorite buffalo cheese curds, and I take the plate and I'm eating all of them, and then someone walks by and goes, "Hey, slow down, you cheese turd." And how am I supposed to be like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Joke?
Those are and by the way, buffalo cheese curds, those are my favorite appetizers.
I can't be offended. I got a mouthful of cheese curds.
How about that, though? Let's talk about when you go out to eat.
Let's talk. Okay, yeah, what?
When you got about 4 or 5 people, you go out to eat, y'all share appetizer, maybe 2 appetizers. and you have that one guy that always eats like 3/4 of the appetizer, and then the other 4 people have to share 1/4. There's always that one guy.
It's because it's all about rhythm, I feel like. I know what you're talking about, but some people act like you can just leave an appetizer sitting there for 10 minutes, and it's like, oh, did you expect there to be some left over? Once Ronny gets in a rhythm, I'm not going to be doing anything crazy.
I see what's going on here.
But no, listen, are you the guy that gets an appetizer and has one cheese curd every 2 minutes?
No, I normally, if there's like 30 cheese curds, I'll get 5 of them. I'll be like, okay, this is about even. And then,
so you're splitting it up.
I'll split it up at first, and then you are right. If I eat those 5 and a couple more minutes goes by, no one's grabbing it anymore.
And there's still 15 cheese curds on the plate?
I'm going to grab a couple of them.
You got to get a couple more of those curds, bro.
I got to curd up.
All right. Yeah, because I knew you were trying to point that on me, and I'm glad that it sounds like, for the most part, we're on the same page.
But we know what type of rhythm you got.
I had 25 of the 30 cheese curds. So the
5.
witch says, I already have come down a few times. Don't want it anymore, you dirty first year, as she uses her broom to sweep some tree branches, causing some cursed wind energy to make a rough time for Nobara.
When I was a senior, I used to call the freshmen's dirty first years, and then we'd get dirty, and was all the only women I could get because I was a loser.
Okay. That's especially kind of unfortunate that you admitted that about yourself, because I don't think that the actual quote was dirty first year. I think that was a Ronster original. I think I kind of slipped that in there.
Just disregard everything I just said.
Finally, the wind calms down, but just as Nobara lowers her guard, the magic witch broom takes off from behind her and hits her across the face, which, you know what I thought? Owie. Sabrina says a scar is a badge of honor for a man, but it's only a flaw on a woman.
Oh.
So now we get to the part of the episode that I don't think Chad is going to get us into any hot water. So we're just going to keep going here, and I expect Chad's going to be really respectful and not say anything regretful.
Okay. What are we talking about here? I actually stopped watching at this part.
By the way, can you be on... she's kind of taking shots at women with scars. You love a scar on a woman, right?
I do. I think that shows resilience. I think it shows that you love being in toxic relationships. I've got a chance.
Okay. So the boys, they've really got Sabrina down. She says, you think being a sorcerer is all about power? And Nobara says, yeah, because it is. But Sabrina says, only for men.
Okay, what is going on here?
Okay, all right, well, let's just keep going. Let's see what you think, Even if they're strong women, women have to be cute, or they'll be undervalued. And even if they're cute, they will be undervalued if they're not also strong. They don't demand just strength from female sorcerers. They expect them to be perfect.
See, that's... I don't even know what to say at this part. What do you think of this?
I thought you were going to be bad. So it turns out you got nothing.
No, I really don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you that it kind of came out of nowhere, and I'll tell you what I think. I don't think we have to say anything, because I think our girl, Nobara, handles it with such grace and pride that we don't have to say anything.
Well, listen, I will say one thing, though. I don't want to just not say anything about this.
Okay, I thought we were going to get through
I feel like I definitely need to... My voice should be heard when it comes to, topics like this.
Yeah.
I relate to this so well that...
Women's rights beg for your opinion, so let's...
You do have to be strong, okay? But when she says cute, I think she's kind of understating that. Mm-hmm. You got to be sexy. You got to have some flair with it. If you're not...
high schoolers, remember. Let's remember high schoolers. But
there's no way.
It's a high school, just remember that.
This is... I think in this universe, though...
Remember Toto's 16 years old? It's a high school. Be careful.
If Toto's 16, then I'm fucking 37.
Remember, his muscles have not fully developed. He's just 16, so remember that. Be careful.
They got to show some titties.
Whoa. No, they don't.
No, they don't have to show them.
What are you talking about?
Some cleavage. Because if you're not beating up men with some cleavage sticking out, then it doesn't really count.
What are you talking about? This is not correct at all.
I'm just saying it's hotter that way.
Okay.
But they're in high school, so yeah, you are right. I'm talking about the ones that have already graduated. I'm not talking about them.
So, well, I just feel like, all the guys, they might say all the girls have to be cute. I think this show has cast a bunch of handsome young men.
Well, Toto's always got his shirt off.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, there's not exactly any uglies on the boys' side either. It's just what's up with this whole sorcerer thing. We got a lot of young, good-looking people. I feel like I'm watching a TikTok house compilation video or something.
Here's the thing. How about this? You just be good at what you do, girls. That's all that matters to me.
She says someone like Mai is fighting against even more outrageous demands. And kind of like I said before, at this point I think Nobara is just confused more than anything. She's not sure what she did to cause Sabrina to start talking about all this. So she pulls some nails out and sends them towards this witch. And that makes Sabrina retreat as she is surprised that a first year is so used to fighting and is still going strong no matter how often she is blasted by the wind. Oh God, and then this, I almost didn't put this one in here because I didn't like what it kind of... Nobara says she's used to getting knocked around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do you think she meant by that?
She means that... Dude, did you really think about... No, she means that she's not that good of a fighter and she gets beat around, by men and I'm sure women too while she's fighting.
Well, I don't know what you thought I was thinking. I thought she meant she lived on the beach. The wind is always knocking her around.
I could see that too, yeah.
She's always trying to put towels down in the sand, but it's hard when that wind's a whipping. It kind of knocks you around.
And here's the thing about women. Stop. It's not always about being cute or being strong. Just do what you do.
Oh, all right. Shout out Bambi. Sabrina says if she puts her output any higher, she might kill Nobara, but then says that that's just an excuse, and the real reason is because of Inumaki.
Blind man? No, speech guy.
We flash back to what you think's blind man. I call ponytails because he clearly can see. He just likes to keep his eyes closed. Before the event started, he's explaining the nuances of cursed speech users. And the energy is imbued into sound, so you have to protect your brain and ears with cursed energy, which I have to admit seems like a lot of obnoxious work.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, what's a good example? That's like being like... we were doing this podcast and I put a bucket of water underneath you, and I put a bunch of pins inside the water, and I said throughout the entire podcast you have constantly have to pick up pins with your toes and place them outside, and you can't skip a beat. I feel like that's what it's like.
Or it's like a Gears of War reference when you're fighting a bunch of locusts. You have these little creepy crawlies that crawl around you, and they explode if you shoot them and blow them up. So they constantly are while you're trying to fight the real enemy, they're just nagging at your feet. And then if you shoot and explode them, it causes damage as well. So you always got to keep an eye out on them.
So what do you do?
You just have to shoot them as they're coming up, or you can melee them,
and
they'll fall on their back, and it takes about 2 seconds for them to explode, so you can just back up.
Wow. Okay, so you got to get them before they attach to you.
Yep.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks for that discussion on that dead game.
Sorry, let me take this pin out real quick.
He says, it's not really a big deal for sorcerers as long as they know it's coming. But we cut back to Sabrina, who is saying that's the problem. When you don't know if it's coming or not, it just makes for a big distraction. She's not used to protecting the inside of her head. And meanwhile, Nobara sends more nails, which causes Sabrina to once again start talking about Mai, as she said, perfection is simple compared to what is expected from her. It's a real Mai simp over here.
I know. Mai looks like she's 30, doesn't she?
Well, okay, moving on. She's from the Zenin clan, is what Sabrina says, one of the 3 major clans of elite Jujutsu sorcerers. This is Ronnie's theory. Fushi is a member of another one of these clans. Mark it down. Mark it down.
Okay.
Hey, will you grab your fucking pen and mark it down?
Well, I'm not even going to say it.
Say it.
No.
All right, I'll sit fucking right here until you say it.
Pretty sure they already said that, but I could be wrong.
When did they say that?
Like episode 6?
They said he was a member of
Possibly
one
a member
of
of a clan.
3 clans? Or are you talking about how I've had this awesome theory for a while now?
Or maybe either you said that theory or they said it.
My theory is so strong that you're taking it for
maybe
for just how things are.
It could be. And any Jujutsu smarties out there, please let me know if they've already mentioned that or not, and I'll give you a treat.
And if you heard that, you actually don't have to do that. Just let me keep thinking, because I didn't remember that, because it's my theory. So just let's move on.
Wow, he's so smart.
All members are expected to inherit the clan's hereditary technique, and any who don't meet that demand start their sorcerer lives as failures.
That's like me saying, theory-wise, so just listen to this. Take this theory right here. Sukuna is actually a vessel.
Except it's just not the same thing at all, because mine's actually really well thought out.
Yuji is a vessel for
And if you
Sukuna.
go back to the episode where I first debuted my theory, there was a lot of thought behind it, and a lot of people were like, wow, Ronny, you're so wise.
You were like, he has black hair like Mai and Maki.
But back to the I'm not saying he's part of their clan, one of the other ones. Back to the hereditary technique, and if they don't meet that demand, I know that feel. Because the doctor told me I would be 6'3" like my dad, but when I never quite got to 5'4", he stopped looking at me the same way.
They put a block on your head.
Among those, women aren't allowed to even stand at the starting line, and without the Zenin clan lineage, they're not even considered sorcerers. And if they're not considered sorcerers, they're not considered people. Mai has lived her entire life with such... Are you good over there?
Yeah, I'm good. I had this theory.
So, okay, well, then you want to say it? Because I paused because I was like, oh, maybe Chad has something to say there. You didn't say anything, and then as soon as I started talking, you exhaled into the microphone, which I found kind of annoying.
I was going to say, one of my theories now is that Fushi would not be relevant if he wasn't from a clan, and I have a theory that he is from like some type of clan, and that's how he has these powers. So your
theory is actually not a theory at all. You're just mad that I have a theory that you're trying to come up with some way to shit on my theory.
And I'm saying, no, this is my theory. You're not listening. He was banned from this clan, and he's like an outlaw.
And now I'm mad because you just wanted to say banned from this clan. Mai has lived her entire life
and I'm a fan.
Such scorn in a family without a shred of affection. She says, so why don't you think about that? When a nail comes flying towards her face, we cut over to best girl Nobara, who says, you think misfortune is a free pass to do anything? Wow.
She's so spunky. I love it.
I can't stand her, regardless of her upbringing, and I love Maki, who endured the same thing. Have you all even bothered to think about what kind of person the idiot you're trying to curse is?
Yeah, and Maki doesn't even have cursed energy. I'm
loving Nobara lately. I'm going to say it. What makes you obligated to meet such perfection or such... Oh, God. What makes you obligated to meet... What makes you obligated...
Hey, take 5.
...to meet such perfection or such absurd demands? Fucking nailed it.
Let's go.
If your entire life is just a job.
Well, that is everyone's life. We're all just living and jobbing. Just
punching the time clock. As Nobara does her straw doll technique hairpin, as all the nails she has shot start exploding. She takes this time to try and climb up and grab Sabrina, but falls just short, except not really, as we see a tiny bit of straw from the broom inside of Nobara's doll.
And that's all she needed, folks.
She says, I don't give a damn about men this and women that. You can keep that shit to yourself. I love myself when I get dressed up and pretty, and I love myself when I'm being strong. You fucking go, girl.
Without makeup on.
Hair tied. Sweatpants.
Here's the thing about Ronny, guys.
That's when you're the pretty.
Ronny calls people at work when they're not wearing makeup Shrek. That's the type of guy he is. I call them gorgeous, and when they're not wearing makeup, I say, you know what? She still looks good today.
First of all, it has nothing to do with makeup. I think, I've said many times, you don't need makeup, ladies. You look great. Just this unfortunate soul just looks a little bit like Shrek.
Oh, so now you're telling ladies how to be you're telling them to not wear makeup. That's just as bad.
I'm saying do what you want.
Okay, there you go. That's better.
And when you started, the reason I started the Shrek thing was because when you first started saying things, it was a little up into the air, and whether or not she was a high schooler. So,
okay, that's not. You always try to bring this, and she was definitely like 18 and 2
You want to call me out about Shrek? I'm going to call you about us not verifying her age before you started saying some relatively inappropriate things.
Saying a girl looks cute.
Now, I will say this: you were in the clear. The police can turn around from the front door right now because we're fine. You hit the jackpot. Somebody once told me.
Yeah, that's messed up on you. Guys, don't listen to anything he says. He legit called this poor girl Shrek, and I had to comfort her.
As she hammers the doll, sending Sabrina's broom soaring down, Nobara notes that if she hits her with the hammer straight up, she might kill her. So naturally, she pulls out a squeaky toy hammer from out of nowhere and beats the shit out of her with it.
That was hot.
Where did that come from? She's like, oh, so now I'll just pull out this squeaky hammer.
I'm sure she just had it on her. Probably.
But just then,
did she pull it out of her chest?
But
like she had it in her shirt?
I don't know. That's what I said. And you kind of passed it. And now you want to talk about it. So I don't know what you're doing.
Well, actually, I just talked about it right after you talked about it. Give me some time to say my words out of my mouth.
You're the only guy. You're the only guy that's doing a podcast with a pillow in his lap because you're getting ready to fall on it and sleep.
Dude,
so I don't know if you're trying to do the podcast. I'm doing
the oldest trick in the book. You don't know anything about it. Whenever you get like
looking at me, you got a boater, and so you put a pillow over
an RBS. You always put a pillow over top of you. You act like you're just enjoying the pillow.
Yeah,
really, you're covering. You're covering a boner.
That boner's been going on for a long time. If you
I am enjoying the pillow.
If you need to take care of it, just take care of it. All right, it's fine. I'm pretty wrapped up in my notes anyway.
My name's Jeffrey.
I probably won't even notice. But just then she gets fucking shot. Okay?
Oof.
And thank goodness Maya was far enough to barely be in effective range, and it turns out she was using a rubber bullet. Which makes a lot more sense given the circumstances, but I can't help but feel like it took something away, if you know what I mean. Like before I was like, what? She can just... The rules are don't kill anyone, and yet she's got a fucking revolver, and they're all like fine with it.
Why wouldn't more people use that? You know?
Oh, just firearms?
Yeah. If there's firearms, why wouldn't you just use it? Like, I'd love if they just had all this crazy curse technique stuff, and then you just see somebody come up and just shoot them in the face.
Just anyone who's not carrying weapons anyway. Like, why does Panda not just run around with a light machine gun and just?
Yeah.
Good point.
Flawed. Guess we can quit the show now.
Yeah.
No, but we did see... Well, never mind. Keep going.
So, I'm just tired of this woman and her gun. The two girls from Team Kyoto are chatting on the phone. Maya's reloading as she says she can't get in touch with Mecha Maru. And she's worried because she is sure that she saw one of his powerful techniques and now she can't get in touch with him. So that just means bad things. We cut over to Momo and see Nobara passed out behind her. Maya says that Momo should get back in the air to help be the eyes for everyone because they are lost without her. Momo, by the way, is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They started saying her name a little bit more at this part of the episode, which I was reminded of her real name. So
another name that starts with an M. It's just all about the M's.
I told you. As Mai hangs up, we see Maki standing in a tree branch next to her, we see Maki standing in a tree next to her, and she partakes in a little trash talk. Mai points the gun at her, and we cut to another flashback.
I think it's not cheating, obviously, because she is using a rubber bullet.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks just like such a cheap move to be sitting in a tree with a revolver in your hand.
Right. Yeah, because what we see is she points the gun, Maki points a sword. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight is what I've always heard.
Well, unless it's a sword and you're going up against rubber bullets, then I guess you could do it. But
to be fair, though, the only time the gun has actually worked out at all was it just knocked Nobara out, and every other time, Mai has the most shit aim of anyone with a gun I've ever seen.
Well, that's a little
it's
too
terrible.
far.
It's terrible. What are you typing over there? What's
when
going
you
on?
fire at close range, rubber bullets can penetrate the skin, break bones, fracture the skull, and explode the eyeball.
What? You just did some research. Have you ever done that before?
I don't think I have.
Wow.
This is the first time I've looked up anything.
It's pretty fun, right? That's why you had such a big smile
I
on
mean
your
like
face.
just anything in life.
I know.
Rubber bullets can cause traumatic brain injuries and serious abdominal injury, including injuries to the spleen and bowel, along with major blood
Okay, when you
vessels.
research, you got to know when to stop because you got a little droney there.
This is said by Dr. But no, in all seriousness, that was a faraway shot. This is saying up close. So it makes sense that she knocked her out and didn't just explode her face.
We cut to another flashback of Nobara asking Itadori what he thinks of Maki. And very anime, but very funny, Itadori internally screams she'll be mad no matter how I answer.
And despite being less lethal...
Yo, you're still going, huh?
Rubber bullet... This is a different article, by the way. I just
Okay.
wanted to get
Yeah.
different sources. Rubber bullets are still extremely dangerous.
Now, you're not on Wikipedia, right? You know that's a big no-no.
If you get hit by one from 30 yards away, it feels like a strong punch.
Ooh.
So there we go. That's
30 yards away?
Yeah.
That does not seem like that far away to shoot.
If you get hit in the neck, you could sustain permanent damage or life-threatening injuries to your airway or paralyzation.
This is not good that you're reading this because I see very much in our near future you with rubber bullets, me standing 30 yards away, and you being like,
It's just a punch.
oh, if I shoot him, it's just going to be like a hard punch. You'll be fine. And then you shoot my eye and I lose my sight.
Then it's just like a punch from Mike Tyson. I'm like, oh.
So Itadori is going to take the respectful Ronny approach and says, I think she's a wonderful woman. But Nobara meant as a sorcerer, of course, so it's kind of embarrassing.
I think that's pretty funny when Yuji, he's kind of just a Dumbo that answers stuff like that.
So the two of them and Panda peek around a corner towards Maki as Itadori says one of the best lines of the episode, which is, honestly, I still don't know that much about Jujutsu. He's just like, I feel like I am not learning anything. I keep finding myself with assistant to the manager a lot. He's stupid. But he goes on to say that Maki is really strong in a fight and says even the way she walks is scary on its own.
I've always said that. You can tell by the way someone walks if they are good in bed or not.
Oh,
good,
okay.
if they're just good at fighting.
Right. Nobara reports that she is only a 4th grade, which surprises Yuji as Nobara goes on to talk about the Zenin clan and how after Maki left, the clan has been interfering with her promotion. Panda says if she performs well at the event, her name will get spread around and it will be harder for her family to harass her. Just then, Maki announces that she's heard all of this because they're just talking 15 feet away. A rubber bullet could do some serious damage from this distance because they're right there. Back in the trees, Mai shoots a bullet, but it's easily sliced in half by Maki, who then dodges more bullets and cuts the branch Mai is standing on from out underneath her as Mai thinks about the one gift Maki has that she doesn't. And we go to
And that is
another flashback
what do you think it is, though?
to young Maki and Mai. Guess what? Gonna tell ya. We hear a man say...
No, what do you think it is? Act like you haven't seen the episode.
I'm gonna think that the gift is...
Determination. Lemonade mouth.
That's Chad
Edit.
singing a Disney Channel original from Lemonade Mouth. What a film.
Great film.
We hear a man say, have you heard about the 2 daughters? One can't even see curses, let alone use techniques. And the other man says twins are an ill fortune. While the other goes on to say, might be a good thing. I couldn't bear to see an eldest son as a servant. So just some sexist pricks strolling the halls here.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Later on, the girls have grown up a bit. Maki is trying to get Mai to come along, but Mai is scared, which rightfully so, as we see some sort of scary as shit mummy skeleton looking scarecrow thing, mumbling something scary. It all makes everything pretty scary, I thought. What was this thing?
It was just a scary ass curse, dude. I don't know why it was just chilling, but I
But
love the whole
scary.
Yeah, it's very scary, and I love the whole relationship here and how Maki is such like the even though she's technically weaker in cursed form, she's being the bigger person right here and helping out her sis. It's really sweet.
Yeah, because Maki grabs Mai's hand and, like a good sister, helps her along. And present Mai's voice overdubs the scene as she says, "You've always acted like you were never scared and plowed forward to your future. I hated you." Which I think is unfair, because at this point in time, when you see this flashback, if we're taking this to be true narration, it's very much clear that Mai did not hate Maki and instead adored her. And this is future Mai letting her influence.
And I would say, even when she says "I hate her," even in current form, she doesn't really mean that.
Amen, brother. It's like when I say I hate you.
Yeah. You don't mean it, but you just do for a second.
I don't mean it, but I do at the same time. We cut to the father of the Zenin clan, and oh my god, cannot wait to see more of this guy. I mean, it's the mustache. Homeboy has got some white-haired chopsticks sticking out of that upper lip. And it also looks as if his pectoral muscles have six packs. Never seen anything quite like it.
It's great, dude. It looks like he does crunches with his pecs. Don't know how you do that, but...
Me either. He asks Maki if she's leaving the clan, and we see a young teenage Maki saying, "Don't worry, I'll come back someday, clan leader." Which is a classic when you don't call your father your dad or something like that.
I used to call my father parent leader. That was before I came back.
That was always super weird. I remember going home to my parents and being like, "Hey, why does Chaz call his daddy parent leader? Is that like a line leader, like at school when I walk through the halls?"
A line leader, dude.
Second square from the right, quiet sign. I was the line leader.
I remember you crying about not being a line leader one
And my
time.
dad said, "Be quiet, Ronnie. Stop talking."
The line leader. That was one of the coolest things you could be when you were a kid.
When you were going to the library for reading circle and you were the fucking line leader, you didn't feel like much more in charge.
I remember people would be like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And if I was the line leader that day, I'd be like, "I've already got everything."
I'm at the
peak
I'm already here.
The line leader. Oh, good times.
And you remember you would do, like, everyone would be walking and the teacher would say something, you'd stop so quick and then people would run into you from behind. Yeah. And because you had to hold that formation. I remember that. God, that was a great
line.
And
you'd turn around and you put your finger over your lip if people were talking. You're like, "We're in the hallway. Let's
because you didn't
quiet."
give a shit about the quiet sign unless you were the line leader.
Yes. Because you lead by example. People don't understand that. Whatever you do, the people following you do as well.
He takes a drink of water, and you already knew this, but of course he's the type of guy that drinks it recklessly, letting a lot of it slide down the side of his mouth.
Me.
Yeah, you're so that guy.
I love doing that, dude. I honestly think it's a little, you're kind of pervy if you get everything in your mouth.
Okay.
You gotta let a little drop
listen,
on you.
When you say it out loud, how can I argue with it? It's pretty good logic. He asks, "Why would you return?" And she says, "Because I'm going to be the head of the Zenin clan." He laughs and says, "Well, then I'm going to put you through some ordeals." Which I thought was a funny line.
That is pretty
I'm going to
funny.
start saying that. Be like, wow, I do not like that guy. I'm going to put him through so many ordeals. She turns away unbothered and says, "Do as you please." But then he says, "My as well." Which makes Maki stop. This obviously is more frustrating to her. And she says, she has nothing to do with this, and walks out. We see Mai sitting outside listening, and she whispers, "Liar."
Yeah. So, what we're getting from this whole thing is Mai mainly saying she hates her in quotations because she was leaving her, pretty much.
I think so.
Leaving her to do her own thing, but it was like she was almost too scared to do her own thing, so that's why.
Right.
It's her own insecurities that make her hate her.
Yeah.
This is just some sad stuff, man. Makes me like Mai a little bit more, even though she's using rubber bullets.
Back in the present, the sisters continue to fight. Mai reloads her bullets as Maki continues to run. Mai shoots 6 times, leaving Maki to believe that she has run out of bullets. And oh my god, okay.
We have another panda moment.
I know. I hate being this guy so bad, but I watched it twice. After reloading, she only shot 5 times.
Are you sure about this?
I'm sure. Counted twice.
I didn't count it, so I can't correct you on it.
I'm sorry, it might make everyone respect me less for being a little nitpicky, but when you are a professional podcaster, sometimes the quality of your work has to come before your popularity.
I don't think you're that good at your job. Not saying you're bad at
it.
I'm just saying I don't think you're that good at your job where you can count bullets properly.
Counted it twice.
I will go back and count it, and for next episode, I will call you out on it.
Call me Saint Nick. Checking it twice. Also, so confident that you will never go back and watch that episode, and I will never have to deal with the wrath of you counting, saying 6 times. But from here on, let's act as if she fired 6 bullets, but I caught onto your bullshit show. Sorry. Maki takes the chance to not let Mai reload, and Mai continues to think about how she hates Maki as she fires 1 more bullet. And that stops Maki right in her tracks. Mai, thinking to herself, says, I never told you about my first love or my technique.
I want to hear about this first love.
So I think what's interesting here is I think what she's kind of... Because she threw that in there. I'm like, what's that all about? My little theory there is after we saw her with Tochada or whatever... Toto's simp is, I think Mai's insinuating that it's a woman.
Oh, I think you are right. Yeah,
I'm right. Nice.
You are. I wasn't thinking about that. See, I was thinking about. I thought she was doing one of those lame things where. Well, sorry. This. I don't know if this is lame. I'll go ahead and talk about this topic where.
Okay.
Where. Like there's a. It's always on Facebook. You see a girl who's probably the age of like 21, presumptuously.
Okay, if we can pause right now, let me just say I have no clue where you're going with this.
Presumptuously a white female.
Okay.
She always posts, oh, happy birthday, Dad. You're always my first love. And every time it's just like...
do you see that a lot?
Oh, I see it all the time.
I need you to start sending those to me when you see them so we can...
I know, and I know the listeners have seen this as well. They've probably participated in it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, do you always have to say that your dad was your first love or your sister? You're like, oh, well, God. I loved my sister. It's my first love.
That's exactly like calling your wife, being like, oh, my best friend for 5 years.
Stop that.
It's the same exact thing. That's
no, it's not. If you're tonguing her, it's your best friend.
All right.
I thought she was going with that, and I was going to say I thought she was talking about Maki. She's like, you were my first love because I love you, sis.
Yeah.
I love you, bro.
I initially kind of thought, but I'm going with her first love as a woman.
You're definitely right. I like that take.
Construct.
I want to see some Mai and female action.
Her technique is construction. It uses 1 cursed energy... Wait...
It's great. She suddenly turns 5 foot, goes to the local gas station, gets a couple 40s, and heads to the grind.
I had it in the notes as used 1 cursed energy. Like there's a number of cursed energies you give to stuff. No. Construction. It uses cursed energy to create matter out of nothing. The matter produced by construction doesn't disappear when the cursed technique ends. And because of that, it consumes a lot of energy and is a slow process. Creating 1 bullet a day is Mai's maximum.
And brings her own microwave to work.
Now, this is obviously, as you were talking about before, another long technique description. What did you think of this one?
This one's all right. I'm not, like I said, sometimes there's so many words on the screen that it's really, really jumbles up my brain area, my brain matter. It starts like starts like configuring like things out, and then I'm like, am I watching a show right now, or am I solving an equation? And then I shit my pants.
It's just funny because I think it's a cool concept. I like the idea that she's making a bullet in her gun to make a 7th round. The funny thing about it is now this will be the second long description of a technique that will go on to not work at all.
Yeah, and then also, it's really your 6th shot. If you were right on that,
well, yeah,
she really didn't construct it.
I told you I didn't want to be an asshole, so I wasn't going to say that. But thank you for once again acknowledging how immersed I was in this episode. We see the bullet 1 inch away from the bridge of Maki's nose. It looks like she's getting ready to get plowed right in the face.
Whoa!
It does. Let's be honest. Do you think she made a rubber bullet or a real bullet?
Rubber. She's not gonna kill her, sissy.
So that seems like we could make 1.5 bullets a day. If you're just making a rubber bullet, don't you think you could make a few more than a real bullet? You know, I'm going with this. I don't know. All right.
Are you talking about matter?
Thanks for helping out. As Mai lets a tear roll down her face, thinking, I win. But boom! So anime! Maki swipes her hand down, catching the bullet that is now 2 feet away from her face. It went back in time. So anime.
Yeah. Maybe that's her curse technique.
She says, ow! Makes the observation that she shouldn't catch bullets with her bare hands, so at least we all learned something. Mai, enraged, starts recklessly attacking. And
just looks like you. When you get mad when I'm beating you at like Fortnite, because we play that a lot still. You just
split screen, yeah.
Yeah, split screen.
We're always right next to each other playing Fortnite.
You just recklessly just come charging in at me, and I just build a little doorway. I just open the door and just shoot you right in the face.
Yeah. She thinks to herself, Mai, enraged, starts recklessly attacking, and she thinks to herself that Maki has another talent. This is a lot like Mekaru with a heavenly pact, but hers is opposite of his.
Which, describe it.
Normally, she would have been born with a cursed technique, but in exchange for that, she was granted superhuman physical abilities. And the Zenin clan wouldn't acknowledge it. Maki holds Mai at sword point as Mai says, why did you leave the clan? Maki says, do I have to spell it out for you? You joined Jujutsu High yourself. Which I was did we know that? Had they said that before?
Mm-hmm.
And then she transferred out or something like that?
Yeah.
She left? Okay. I think I remembered that, but I couldn't. Mai yells that she never wanted to be a sorcerer, but she was forced to. She's so sick of facing scary things. Why couldn't Maki just done as she was told and lived a normal life? She breaks even further and says...
She wants her to be a damn sheep.
Yeah.
That's what she wants her to do.
True. She breaks even further and says, why wouldn't you just stay at the bottom with me? God. That's wanting the best for yourself.
Bottom feeder. Damn.
That's what I think about this podcast, you know? I sometimes, when we just continue to like not grow or whatever, I'm just like, I just want you to stay at the bottom here with me, Chad.
I'm like just chilling at the bottom. I'm like, I'm planning on staying here forever.
Maki says, because I would have hated myself if I did that. That's why. I'm sorry. As we cut to the young versions of the girls again, as Maki says, I won't let go. Mai says, promise, never leave me behind. And Maki says, of course I won't. We're sisters.
What? And I'm guessing she did.
And we all start crying as present day Mai, still crying, says, liar, I hate you. So we get the final update that Mai and Nobara are now out of the competition.
I like Mai a lot now. I know she's kind of cunty.
No, I don't like her.
She's got cunty tendencies, and what she's saying is like really bitchy. But I feel like that's just childhood trauma.
I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to show that, you know, Maki was there for her. She ended up leaving. But Mai is like, I don't know. She won't. How does she not understand what's going on? When you literally say, why did you not just stay at the bottom with me?
Childhood trauma, Ronny.
And she's putting on a show all the time. It's like, get over yourself.
She's got that CTE, that childhood trauma.
This is why you got to be so careful. Like, she's already in high school, so be careful to begin with. Mentally, she's so underdeveloped. She's like a 7-year-old kid.
Well, no.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. This
No.
is such little kid thinking, Chaz.
No
Grow up.
No little kid thinks I want someone to stay at the bottom with me.
Yeah,
You used to think that?
yeah.
You said that the most confidently, like that was
yeah.
the only thought you had.
I was a very negative child.
You literally said that like that was all you thought about when you were 7. You were just like, yes, 100%.
So, yeah, stay at the bottom with me. No.
Never mind then. I guess some kids do.
Get wrecked. So that's the end of the episode. We go to the Juju stroll, though. This one is a good one. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
This way. Hey, you were kind of been down on these lately. This is a good one. You ready for this?
Yep.
Miwa is hungry. She's got the late night rumbly tumblies. We've all been there before. Well, she walks into the kitchen. She's like, oh yeah, I've got some leftovers. She sees Mai and Momo eating her leftover lunch. Now, she's a better person than I, because this right here would be enough for me to pull out my pistol and murder some fools. Don't eat my leftover lunch. They try to give Miwa some ramen, and they're going to spice it up because they are eating her leftover lunch, so they're going to put some milk and cut up peppers inside, really enhancing the ramen. It's going to be one hell of a meal. Miwa's like, all right, I can't resist. She eats it, loves it, and that's it.
Oh, dude. Fuck, why did I not watch that?
What?
God, I know why. Because I'm not a fucking moron.
What an electric scene.
No, I will jump over this table
That scene was electric.
and wax your face right now. I am so sick of the Juju trolls.
Sunday. Come watch this electric scene of seafood ramen eating.
I'm about to quit this podcast.
You know,
if there's any more
what we're going to
trolls.
do right now?
What?
Me and you. Okay, let's see. It's Saturday night. We don't have anything going on. We got a couple hours before the game starts. Let's go get some ramen.
Okay.
Maybe some spicy peppers, a little milk.
Yep.
Huh? Stir it in there. Can you think of a better meal for a Saturday night than a little milked down peppered ramen?
Is it supposed to be bad?
It's supposed to be good. Miwa seemed to enjoy it. I don't really see how it enhances it so much by throwing a little. Maybe if it's more like a heavy cream, just milk. I mean, I don't feel like the broth of a ramen and milk would work, but I don't.
These Juju trolls are just the worst.
But that is the episode. Thank you for tuning in. We just are so glad that you're here. Just a few more episodes. We're getting near the end here. I've been Ronnie.
I have been Mr. Chatty.
Where can they find us, Chad?
Guys, you can find us on Apple Music.
Okay.
You can find us on the Android store.
You've already not done this correctly.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can get us on Stitcher Radio. You can get us on SiriusXM. You can also find us on YouTubes.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to watch us on YouTubes, then don't do it because no one does.
Google Play, no one listens on YouTube. Can you start posting? Maybe they don't because you don't post them on YouTube.
I will
you go
finish.
You go on a
one
vacation.
episode behind. Just one
Is
episode
that all?
behind. Yeah, and thank you for joining us tonight, fellas.
Yep.
And ladies.
Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Chronic. Email us thepodcastchronicles@gmail.com.
Twitter.
Join the Discord in the description below, and we will talk with you.
And on Twitter at
next
thepodcastchronic.
time.
Tweet at us.
There'll be another Learn a Little Something with Ronnie and Chad coming out soon. You gotta listen. We love doing that show over there. You gotta watch. We're gonna have Brock on soon. You gotta come meet Brock. All right. Peace.
Peace.